question, how to network as a student. In this video, I'll share why everything you know about networking you learned in kindergarten. Then I'll share the #1 place to network to explode your career. And lastly, I'll reveal the secret trick to growing your network between classes and study sessions. And on top of that, I have a killer strategy I want to share with you about the best place to start your networking, but only if you stick around until the very end. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about why everything you know about networking you learned in kindergarten. Growing up, I was taught 3 basic principles that have proven to be a solid foundation for effective networking to this day. These are all things we learned in kindergarten and somehow we abandoned or forgot them as we got older. But following these 3 basic principles are critical for making a solid first impression, increasing your reputational capital, and building a strong professional network that can support you throughout the entire span of your career. All right, #1, share. I was taught that if I had an extra candy or stick of gum, it was always kind to offer the person next to me if they wanted one. I was supposed to share with others my toys, my crayons, etc. In networking, that means you share your expertise, offer support, and provide ideas, solutions, and resources to those you connect with. All too often, networking is a one-way conversation that focuses on what you can get from someone, or making an elevator pitch or a 30-second commercial. This approach is very transactional in nature, and although very common, it is not the most effective approach. When you share and allow for a two-way conversation, you are engaging in relational networking, and this opens the floodgates for opportunity and brainpower. #2, behave and be polite. In networking, that means being responsive and following up. It is important that you routinely acknowledge that you received an email, a text, a call, or a message from someone. It is important to think of the other person and not just about yourself. This is another way of proving you are open to two-way conversations. It is said that the fortune is in the follow-up. And I know that not only is the fortune in the follow-up, but it's also in the follow-through as well. Though this is a known fact by many professionals, it is amazing to me how many people fail to follow up and follow through. #3, always say please and thank you. In networking, that means asking if someone is open to connecting, or would they be open to providing feedback or guidance. There is a power in asking nicely instead of just blasting someone. Once someone says yes and you connect, then it is always a good idea to say thank you and follow up with a thank you note. People like to work with and hire people they know, like, and trust. The key is, how are you going to be known? When you are known as someone that is sharing and shares and is responsive and always follows up and follows through, always says please and thank you, you are increasing your reputational capital. No matter how many jobs you have throughout your career or how many people you are connected to, the only thing you can control is your reputational capital. Think about the people you enjoyed playing with or sitting next to in kindergarten. Chances are they applied all 3 of these basic principles. They had high reputational capital, so you were attracted to them. So, do you think you will attract more ideas, resources, and opportunities by applying these 3 principles we all learned in kindergarten? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear your answers. All right, so now let's talk about the #1 place to network to explode your career. Ready for it? Network everywhere during your day-to-day activities. I believe networking is a skill, an activity, and an attitude. It is this attitude that is often overlooked. Typically, we think networking is about selling or making an ask for a job or a promotion, or asking to be included in a high-profile scrum team or getting more clients. When you shift your networking attitude from selling and telling to making connections, you become focused on learning from people and about people. This networking attitude shifts how you interact with everyone you meet. Here's what I mean. In my first year in college, I was chatting with a counselor I had ran into in the hall, and we started talking about how I was interested in finding a summer job. Since we were just chatting in the hall, other college employees joined in. Since I had been a drum major in high school, I was given the idea to search for summer camps. As luck would have it, the camp I had gone to on the West Coast was headquartered in Dallas, where I had just moved to. When I called, they asked me to have my former band director submit a video audition of my skills in conducting salutes, marching, etc. The challenge was that my former band directors were in other states. A few days later, I arrived early to my history class. I was the first one there, so the professor struck up a conversation with me and asked me what I had planned for the summer. I shared about how I was searching for a summer job, and I also shared my challenge of having a former band director submit my audition video on my behalf for the summer camp position I was interested in. He suggested I call and let the camp company know I couldn't submit a video, but I would be willing to come in for an in-person interview and audition if they were open to it. So I did what he suggested, and they agreed to have me audition live. After the audition, I sent each employee that I interacted with a handwritten thank you note. A few days later, I found out I got the job. I also found out that I was the only person who ever auditioned live in the history of that company. Not only were my skills what they were looking for, but they were also impressed that I took the advice and feedback of everyone and persisted to find a way, and that I followed up with handwritten thank you notes. That amazing summer experience taught me what was possible if I was open to networking with those I already know and applying the principles we learned in kindergarten we talked about earlier. Throughout my career, I was this attitude of networking to have meaningful conversations and lasting relationships that have exploded my career as a corporate professional and now as an entrepreneur and CEO. Now, before I reveal the secret trick to growing your network between classes and study sessions, I want to remind you to subscribe to this channel. I'm putting out videos every week to help you network more effectively like we do in our Down and Dirty Networking community. So click subscribe to this channel and make sure to drop me a thumbs up in this video if you're finding these tips helpful. All right, so now let's get to that secret. The secret trick to growing your network between classes and study sessions. Talk less, question more. When you adopt a networking attitude focused on meaningful conversations and building lasting relationships, questions are your most powerful tool to learn from someone and about someone. Let's look at the story I just shared about my summer camp counselor, about the summer camp job. The counselor, employees, and professor all were asking me questions to provide ideas and solutions. Then I called the summer camp company and I asked if they were open to having me audition live. During the audition, they were asking me questions and I had questions ready to get to know them and more about the position. They told me that I was the only person that submitted any questions. Everyone else submitted their video but didn't follow up. And they didn't ask anything either. I never forgot that. After that summer, back in college, I made sure to engage with my professors, counselors, and college staff to learn about them and from them. They were my first professional networking colleagues that ultimately springboarded my career. So take advantage of those wise professors, counselors, and college staff all around you. Ask thoughtful questions to learn from them and about them. Then be open to applying what you learn. If you know what kind of job you want or industry you want to work in after you get out of school, ask them if they know anyone in that field you could talk to or interview. Interviewing someone that is where you want to go or think you want to go is the best easy button and supercharge button you can press for your career. I remember getting to chat with professionals in positions I thought I wanted to do. All of these conversations were very illuminating. I learned what they really did and gained clarity on the exact type position I wanted and didn't want. With every job and pivot I've made since, I've done the exact same thing by having conversations with those in positions I thought I wanted. It is far wiser to learn from those that have been there and done that than trying to walk it alone. Now, the best place for students to start their professional networking journey is right here in our Down and Dirty Networking community. Click the link in the description below and I will send you a personal invitation to the next Down and Dirty Networking Sneak Peek event. The Down and Dirty Networking online community is a safe, no-muss environment that is fun and innovative. Our community is filled with amazing professionals from all professions and industries focused 100% on relational networking, committed to co-elevate, collaborate, and connect to have meaningful conversations and build lasting relationships. You do not have to weed through all of the traditional networking 30-second commercials and sales pitches. We cut that fluff for you so you have meaningful conversations at every event. And since we're a virtual community platform, we can go with you as you move through your professional journey. So click the link in the description below to get your personal invitation to network with our extraordinarily supportive community. I look forward to seeing you at the sneak peek event. Thanks for watching and happy networking.